Did you know that the orchid family contains approximately 25,000 species, or that many orchids remain critically endangered and are rarely found in nature? In fact, the rarest orchids in the world are protected by law and occupy fragile habitats. Interested in learning more about some rare orchid species? Continue watching to discover the 5 rarest members of the Orchidaceae family. Western underground orchid. The western underground orchid is so rare that scientists believe there are less than 50 plants in the world. Its habitat is the broom bush scrubland of Western Australia, and it spends its entire life below ground. It flowers from late May through early June, you guessed it, underground. With more than 100 reddish and cream-colored flowers, the orchid features a strong fragrance. Since the orchid can't draw on energy from the sun, it contains no chlorophyll. Instead, it parasitizes the roots of the broom honey myrtle bush. How? It draws nutrients from this shrub through a symbiotic relationship with mycorrhizal fungus. Because of its subterranean existence, the orchid relies on termites and gnats to pollinate it. They are drawn to it by the flower's strong fragrance. Western prairie fringed orchid. The western prairie fringed orchid only exists in 5 states in the American Midwest. Only 172 populations of the species are left in the world, and of these, only 4 contain more than 1,000 plants. A wetland plant, the western prairie fringed orchid flourishes in prairie potholes. Major threats to this plant include climate change, fires, overgrazing, and development. Ghost orchid. Native to Florida, Cuba, and the Bahamas, the ghost orchid grows on the main branches of living trees. It tends to favor pond apple trees. It blossoms between June and August, producing between 1 and 10 fragrant flowers that open one at a time. Ghost orchid flowers appear white. They are displayed on spikes rising out of the plant's root network. The lower petal of each flower has 2 long lateral tendrils, giving the ghost orchid's flowers their distinctive look. Endangered in the wild, ghost orchids have also proven very tricky to cultivate in captivity. Shenzhen Nankei orchid. The Shenzhen Nankei orchid is unlike any other flower on this list. How? It was engineered in a Chinese laboratory by agricultural scientists. In fact, its name comes from the Shenzhen Nankei University where the experiment took place. It took 8 years to craft the blossom, and it, in turn, requires 4 to 5 years to produce each flower. It remains a rare bloom that sells for upwards of $220,000 per flower. Hawaii bog orchid. One of 3 species found in Hawaii, this fringed orchid only lives in bogs protected from wild pigs by fences. It features greenish-yellow flowers on erect skies complemented by pale green egg-shaped leaves. Grown from a tuber, not much else is known about the plant, including how it reproduces or its lifespan. What are some of the biggest threats facing the Hawaiian bog orchid? Apart from pigs, threats include cattle grazing, hurricanes, and invasive plant species. As of 2009, 3 populations of the plant remained, numbering less than 50 total. The 10 orchids listed above face threats from invasive species, development, climate change, and more. Most hover near extinction. Learning more about the rarest orchids in the world highlights the importance of conservation. Some species, such as Coleman's coal root and the Hawaii bog orchid, face virtual extinction. They remind us of how fragile Earth's ecosystems truly are and why very rare orchids need to be protected. Fascinated by rare orchids? Check out our blog to learn more about these fragile beauties, or contact us today with your orchid-related questions. From cultivation to maintenance, we're here to help your plants bloom. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.